G'day everyone, my name's Ross McLennan from Hidden Valley Cabins and Tours. Why do you want to come to Townsville? Well, quite simply, it's the best place on earth. Basically, if you live here in the city, you've got 13 kilometres of beachfront to take a stroll on, grab a coffee and a gelati. If you want to go into the mountains behind me, you've got 1,000 vertical metres and some of the oldest continual living rainforest on the planet. You've got the World Heritage listed Great Barrier Reef off the coast. We've got our own magnetic island as our holiday destination on the weekend. So hey, come and have a look for yourself and find out why this is Australia's largest regional centre north of your lovely city. So of course, people always say to me, when you live up there, you don't have all of the amenities of the big city. And I say, well, I think I've got it better. I can be wherever I want to be in Townsville in 15 minutes, if it's a walk along the beachfront, if it's out to one of the major shopping centres to do some shopping, or it's quite simply getting to a meeting on my push bike. We've got a major regional hospital base here with the Townsville General Base Hospital servicing large parts of Northern Australia. Schools, there's a huge variety to choose from. We had no problem getting our little girl into a daycare centre, and the waiting lists definitely aren't as long to get them into different schools and institutions here in a smaller centre. But when we keep saying smaller centre, Townsville is the largest regional city north of Brisbane in Australia.
I moved to Townsville in August 2011. A job opportunity brought me to Townsville. After I completed my PhD, I received 2 offers from Australia. One from James Cook University and another from a university in Melbourne. I chose JCU because it was an ongoing position, academic position, and also offered me a better opportunity for my academic career development. I love the Strand. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world I have ever seen. And also the Kissing Pond, the new park, is just brilliant, fantastic. If somebody approached me about Townsville, I would say come over to experience Townsville. You will love it.
I guess my love affair started with Ingham probably 14, 15 years ago. I was working for the government down in Brisbane. An opportunity came up to travel north. So I had 2 options, Weipa or Ingham. So I put an application in for both. My management rang and said, Scott, you're going to Ingham. So I guess the first reaction was Ingham. You know, I've heard of it. It's not the place where they have the chickens. Ingham's a little country town north of Townsville. So I remember making the phone call back with my wife Helga and seeing whether they have all the TV channels. We didn't know what to expect. So I told all my friends, all of my family, look, I'm going to go up to Ingham. I'll do 2 years as my country service, so to speak, with the government, and I'll come back home. We had our first small child, and Helga was pregnant with our second child. We moved up here to Ingham, and have a look at us now. 14 years later, we own our own property. We've just built our brand new home here in Ingham. Our youngest child was born here in Ingham. So when people ask me, you know, why Ingham? You know, in my line of work, I get to travel around the country. Very fortunate, I have a great job where I get paid to actually go fishing. So I meet plenty of people that want to know why Ingham. And I guess the biggest reason is for me, there's 3 things: the people, the landscape and the fishing. Obviously, I'm in the fishing industry. So when I talk about fishing destinations, people want to know, and it's a big question I'm asked, where's the best spot you've ever fished, Scott? You've travelled the world, you've travelled Australia. Tell me your best, your number 1 fishing spot. And without a doubt, I pause for a minute, scratch my head, look around, I say, Ingham in North Queensland. It's where I live, and it's one of the reasons I live here. People say, why Ingham? And I say, well, the Hilliers are loving it right here in Ingham.
I've been living in the Burdekin now for 5 years, and I would have to say that it was for the career prospects that I moved up here. I was currently living on the Gold Coast and I studied at Griffith University down there, but soon as a job opportunity arose, I jumped at the chance to move to the Burdekin. The thing I love the most about living in the Burdekin would have to be the people. They're just so welcoming. As soon as I moved here, I had touch teams to move into, netball teams to play in. I joined a surf life saving club. It's been a fantastic opportunity to live here.
The reason we come here was that we had the benefits of an agricultural area with all the raw materials sourced. We'd already been planning expansion, and we need water for expansion, but we also need to get it out of the ground, we also need to get it back into the ground. So we're in a position here where we can take unlimited water and then return it back to the paddock as a feedstock for the sugarcane if we need to, or as a raw material for an ongoing cane juice. The other reasons we have is there's a lot of power around here anyway. The farmers here use a lot of irrigation pumps, and consequently there's 22,000 volts all over the place. So we don't have to put in much of our own infrastructure, it's already there. We're very close to a major port. Townsville's only 90 k's up the road, so that cuts our road transportation costs down. And when you start doing the numbers on road transportation versus sea transportation, sea is a lot cheaper. So the closer you are to a major port, the better. So it allows us to utilise a small town as an agricultural base, and then also to have quite a large town which has got a major engineering base right next to us. So we've got the best of both worlds. It's a no-brainer really.
We came back to Charters Towers, and Rhett is a boilermaker by trade, so he just went back to working in a boilermaker shop. And then we decided, why do it for somebody else? We'll try and do it ourselves, and started our own business. And now we have 3 sections of that business. So we expanded with the mines around Charters Towers. So business-wise, we couldn't have asked for a better spot than Charters Towers. Yeah. If someone approached me and was thinking about moving to Charters Towers, particularly personally again for me, it's about family. So Charters Towers just offers that work-life balance for us. It's a type of town that you can walk down the street and you know most of the people. You know, you're waving to everybody on your way down to Woolies or whatever. One of the great things that we find in Charters Towers is there are so many amazing places in far north Queensland, so many amazing places. You've got the bush, you've got the Great Barrier Reef, you've got rainforest, and it's all sort of within a few hours drive. So all of those sort of things you can do with the kids without spending money. One of the major benefits for us having a young family was the education choices in Charters Towers. We have 3 major boarding schools there, and then a whole bunch of state schools. I think there's 6 schools altogether. So you're really spoilt for choice as far as that goes, and you have kids sent from all over the state to come to Charters Towers because of the education facilities. For us, Charters Towers, we love it. It's great, it's been great to us, so yeah, we love it, yeah.
Yeah, look, I've lived on Palm all my life, and certainly growing up on Palm has certainly been good and probably the best place in the north, particularly an island community smack bang in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef is a nice little shire. I think the only shire, and particularly Indigenous shire in North Queensland, that lives within the Great Barrier Reef Marine Precinct. Yeah. In my life, I've certainly done all my schooling on Palm. I went off to boarding school, did a bit of studying at James Cook University for a very short period, worked in the Northern Territory for quite some time, worked in Cairns for a couple of years, and yeah, I think home is where your heart is, and it's the place and the environment, getting up in the morning and sitting on your front porch looking out over the waters and the reefs and the islands. You know, the rainforest meets the reef type thing, so it's a really rainforesty island. Lovely beaches, lovely reefs, and just a nice, not overly populated community, and I think that's what's really important about Palm. The bestest fish and chip shop in North Queensland, and certainly that was proven actually for the Tourism Open Day for Palm, where there was massive lines at the fish bar outside the building actually, with almost probably out of the 300 visitors that come and visit us for the day, probably about 150 of them lined up at the fish bar. And that's the experience certainly that Palm offers, is that real not militarised guided tour type things, but a relaxed come over and enjoy yourself and move around and feel free to mingle and mix with the locals.